So you wanted to know the do's and don'ts of the Philippines and what to avoid and what to do, but how to travel on a budget. Well, we have got the solution for you here today. Today's video is going to be the do's and don'ts of the Philippines. The Philippines has 7,000 islands, and it is a mecca of beauty. Beaches, lagoons, cliff diving, sharks swims, scuba, like kite surfing, you name it. So we are going to be covering all this and much, much more if you are planning a trip to the Philippines. What to do, what not to do, how to travel on a budget, how to stay safe, and what to avoid. So are you planning a trip to the Philippines? Well, I hope so. From the bustling streets of Manila to the pristine beaches of my favorite Siargao, where we're doing some nice surfing at Secret Beach or Cloud 9. This tropical paradise offers something for everyone. But to make the most of your holiday and your vacation, there are some do's and don'ts you need to know. So in this video, we are going to be covering what to do, what to avoid, how to travel on a budget, how to stay safe, and how to maximize your time in Manila, Cebu, Siargao, Boracay, Baler, Subic City, Angeles City. So let's get rolling here. The do's of traveling in the Philippines. So number one, do explore local food markets, no matter where you're at in the Philippines, whether it's Boracay, which is just the beach that's just like, I don't know, miles, but just like food restaurant after food restaurant after food restaurant after food restaurant on Boracay. If you're in Siargao, right across from Cloud 9. If you're in Manila, which is the huge like oval with all the eateries and stuff. The Philippines has always got something for you foodies, and you always want to taste the local cuisine. My suggestion, visit Binondo. It is the oldest Chinatown in the world. It's crazy. It is an amazing, and it sets the stage for the Philippines, China, history, culture, and all the temples that go along with it. There is also Legazpi, and it's the Sunday market for authentic Filipino dishes like adobo and lechon. Now, in Cebu, don't miss trying the famous Cebu lechon. It is often called the best roast pork in the world. And I remember I was in Jamaica, and they always boasted about the jerk chicken, right? Everyone was boasting about jerk chicken. They were cooking jerk chicken all over the place. It was delicious. It was probably the best barbecue chicken I've ever had in Jamaica. So this is Cebu lechon, and it is a roast pork that is done with their special secret ingredients that will just knock you out, and your flavors will go absolutely amazing. Number two, we want to visit a lot of the iconic attractions. Make sure to visit your must-see spots like the Intramuros. It's in Manila, and that's like the history of like Manila. You also want to visit Temple of Lay or Temple of Li in Cebu. When I was in Cebu, I got a taxi, and it was a difficult taxi because the Temple of Leia or Li. Lay is way up in the mountains, so when I got a few taxis, they didn't want to take me all the way up there because the trip was pretty high. And they also said the brakes, right, when you're going up there and when you're going down, the brakes. So Filipinos don't make a lot of money, so the wear and tear of a car, but the brake pads and stuff like that. So it took a few taxis to get up to Temple of Lay. Now, when I was up in Temple of Lay, the architecture was amazing. It was beautiful. It was definitely worth seeing. What I really was very, very appreciative of, across the street there was a few restaurants. I think there was only like 2 or 3. And I walked into one, and then I walked into another one. And before I got my table and stuff like that, we walked in. I walked in. The taxi driver was out in his car. I walked in, but then I walked through as far as the area and stuff, and it overlooked all of Cebu, way out east, all the way. It was really clear that day, all the way out to the edge of the the bay or the water. So it overlooks all the hills, all downtown Cebu, and then the farthest east of the, I guess, the ocean or the bay. It's incredible. So I invited my taxi driver in and said, I'll buy you lunch. And we enjoyed the Temple of Lay, but overlooking the entire city over the hills. It was really, really crazy in there for Cebu. Breathtaking for that. The Temple of Lay is definitely worth it because it has a lot of the Roman design. Now, moving on to Siargao, there's Scuba Lagoon, Sugba Lagoon. It's a paradise for kayaking and swimming. When I was in Siargao, I did some surfing at Cloud 9, then the Secret Beach, and there was some other place I visited and traveled all through General Luna and things. I did a walk. I took a walk from Cloud 9 from the beach all the way down to General Luna. But halfway through or something, there was a beach that had all these kite surfers. And there must have been an event or something because there was 10 and they looked really, really cool. So you're on the water, but you're guided by a kite, in the air. And stuff. It wasn't one of the ones where you have to push up, right, and you have the wind sail. It was actually the kite surfing where the kite flies in the air and then you're on the water. It was pretty cool to see in there. So make sure you visit Siargao. It's a really amazing place. I even did a few CrossFit sessions at CrossFit. Siargao CrossFit, and man, that was pretty cool. They even had a little bar in there for drinks, so you could do any of your protein drinks. I think your avocado drinks, your protein drinks, your bananas and stuff after your workouts. It was really, really great. I loved meeting the people over there. If you're in Angeles City, check out this one. It's Aqua Beach Club. So I'm in Angeles City, right? I'm walking around and touring around. Angeles City is just built up on being an airport, an Air Force base years and years ago. And you could always see why there's just such a Western city in the middle of the Philippines, right? For me, it was a lot more prettier and a lot more enjoyable in Angeles than it was in Manila. But there was this Aqua Beach Club. So I'm researching fitness clubs, all right? I want to get a workout in. I want to stay fit. One of my hotels didn't have a fitness center, a gym, a workout center and things. Sometimes I'll go to the next hotel and ask if they do a day pass and stuff. But I found this Aqua Beach Club. So I go in, I pay the fees, you go up the elevator. And this place is amazing. It's a rooftop pool club, has the DJ, with the lasers, has the whole top floor is different pools, but they're all connected and stuff. And then there's tables and chairs and lounges. So you definitely got to visit Aqua Beach Club in Angeles City with its rooftop club and stunning views of a great, great city right there. If you're going island hopping for number 3, island hopping with over 7,000 islands, right? How many choices do you need? Where are we going? What choices are the options? Island hopping is a must. Siargao is famous for its crystal clear lagoons and its amazing surf spots. It has a surf event. I believe it's in July or August, I believe, for Siargao, for the tour, for the surfing tour. And let's see, Cebu. Take a trip to the Kawasan Falls or swim with the whale sharks in Oslob. I'm always going to recommend going through Dumaguete. Take the ferry into Oslob to do the whale shark swim. from Cebu City down to Oslob is a 4-hour bus ride. So you'd have to get up at 1 or 2 in the morning to get there, and then do that bus ride, do the whale shark swim, and then go all the way back 3 or 4 hours. It's crazy. But what I did is I took the boat ferry from Dumaguete into Oslob. It was really cool. I did a tuk-tuk. Now, Oslob doesn't have like Grab or apps, so you're hailing motorbikes and maybe not really taxi. I would say a little bit more motorbikes just to try to walk to different places. But the Seafarers Hotel is definitely a great recommendation. The Seafarers is the hotel that's built on a cliff. And my room was down by the water, so I'd have the doors open and the waves would be coming in, and right, you can do some snorkeling, you could dive in the water. Right to the right there, it had a bunch of cliffs, and a hotel was built years ago where it had these planks where you could do some cliff diving and jumping. They had the hammocks where you're sort of laying in the hammocks and you're over the water. So really cool. So Seafarers, a great hotel that had the pool and the jacuzzis in the middle, and then the rooms all around, and then the restaurant was right in the middle as well. It was really beautiful. I was seen that hotel by a YouTuber that featured it in one of the YouTube videos, and it's also like 100 meters or maybe 200 meters from the Oslob whale shark swim. So you're not going, 10 minutes or 15 minutes or a half hour, right, in the morning, because you got to wake up at 5 in the morning to get to the whale shark swim. It's right there. It's really convenient. So that's what I recommend. Always book with your tours with a reputable operation or like a company to ensure safety and avoid scams for that. In Cebu, there is also Kawasan Falls. If you do like waterfalls and beautiful like rocks and scenery, that's the place to go in Cebu. Kawasan Falls is great. Cebu is really cool. I met a taxi guide driver in there in Cebu, and next thing I know, for the afternoon, we're playing volleyball with all his friends. There had to be about 20, maybe 30 people there. We're playing on this dirt ground volleyball, which was pretty like fun and entertaining. So definitely some great fun things to do in Cebu. Number 4, I always want to say use local transportation. Some of the things to do. Use local transportation. Jeepneys and tricycles are not just affordable. They are very, very inexpensive. A jeepney's ride costs around maybe 10 or 20 pesos. So 40 cents, 50 cents. So just make sure to ask locals about the fares before you jump on, or where it's going, or where it stops and where it comes back, on things for like that for each different island. Now, each different island is going to be a little different. They don't have as much infrastructure or like apps as you would in like Thailand or maybe Manila or Angeles, with like the Grab app where you can just jump on a Grab a bike. I remember I was in Chiang Mai, Thailand a few years back, and the city was a lot bigger than I expected, and I was really, really, thank goodness that I could just use the Grab or the Bolt app and get a bike here, get a bike over here with no problem. Well, in the Philippines, we have all these small islands, and a lot of people don't make a lot of money. So the streets aren't really lit up. There's a lot of potholes, a lot of dirt roads. They're not like cement and like blacktop, per se. And then I remember even in Siargao, just sitting there, and I would walk the streets because it was pretty dark with my cell phone on, with my light on, so people would at least see, or they wouldn't run into me, or I would be safe. I've seen some other walkers use their head little flashlight, their little lamp, as well. But what I'm referring to is like it's tough to get your app and get a ride, maybe to General Luna, or there's a really cool digital nomad co-working place called Froggies. Froggies was just north of Cloud 9, Siargao, for the surf spot, but it took a little walk to actually get there. The other things to do when we're talking about like local transportation, you always rent like a bike, like a bicycle. Bicycle would be plenty in Siargao. You could rent a bike and you can pedal like anywhere. Other people have rented the scooters, right? The only thing I do suggest about scooters is be sure to invest in like travel insurance, so you never know accidents and things, breakdowns, and things like that. So travel insurance. I have had a few people on different excursions when we were doing island hopping in the Philippines had skidded and their bike like wiped out because it's dirt roads and stuff, and they hurt their knee and stuff. So I always recommend some type of travel insurance. Yeah, on there for that. Now, when we're suggesting stuff, we're always going to say like stay in safe areas. So let's talk about like in Manila, stick to neighborhoods like Makati or Bonifacio Global City. It's BGC. Bonifacio Global City. In Cebu, Ayala Center is a very, very safe hub for tourists, and Siargao is generally safe, especially by Cloud9, also by Froggies because it's a digital nomad space. There's a lot of people, a lot of friends you can meet and hang out with and share commonalities. So always stay in groups, never try to be isolated, and try to stay safe where you have flashlights or your cell phone when walking on the streets, so you stay safe, where people know, or drivers know when they're coming by. You know, they are locals in the islands, and some of these people will just whip by, right? We'll just super fast or whip by, so they don't know, like, you know, tourists are walking across the street or down the street to grab a burger or grab some pizza and stuff like that. Number 6, learn basic Filipino phrases. Now, I love traveling, whether it's to, Mexico and Brazil, Costa Rica, Colombia, some of the different islands where they're a little bit more English, which is St. Martin and St. Lucia and Jamaica and stuff. But I always say, learn basic phrases, so Filipino phrases. It only helps, like, break the ice. People like you more, and they understand that you're a tourist and you're trying your best to be part of the culture and part of, like, the language and stuff. So I always say speak Filipino. Learn phrases like the thank yous and the hellos and the goodbye. I thank you. Where is a hotel? Where is a taxi? Things like that. So I love the Google Translator. I can't use it enough when I'm out and about, whether it's Thailand, whether it's Philippines, Cambodia, Singapore. I'm always trying to at least pronunciate, and I always say, can you say that again? Oh, how do you say? So always say, like thank you, or hello, or goodbye in Filipino. Number 7, let's cover this because there are 7,000 islands in the Philippines. Boracay, Cebu, there's so many small different ones, probably so many different ones that are people like and are tourist spots. Boracay is, I think it was ranked number 1 beach in the world. Next to, I think it was Siesta Key, came up 2 or 3, and that was in Florida. If I'm not mistaken on there. But what I wanted to cover on number 7 is bring cash. Now, when I was traveling and I went to, it might have been from Boracay into Oslob, there was a fee. And I had cash, I had pesos, but I didn't know that. And then I did another one. I did Magic Island because as a cliff diver, I wanted to get into Ariel's Point. So when I was in Boracay, it was raining too much or it was closed, and then I checked online like 3 or 4 days later, and they still said it was closed. Now, I don't know if that was because of the season, if it was permanently closed, but Ariel's Point was a world-renowned cliff diving spot in the Philippines for many, many years, but it was closed. So I headed over to Magic Island, which was what did I have to do? From Boracay, I had to do a bus, then I had to do the boat ferry over, and then there's a fee. So bring cash, bring pesos, bring small dollar bills. Yeah, all these smaller establishments and islands don't accept like credit cards or the mobile apps, per se. So always carrying like small denominations of pesos for transportation, like food, like street food, and maybe like little things you need. Maybe you need a water or Gatorade on your trip, maybe a little snack and things like that. Or maybe you're even going to tip your motorcycle driver or your taxi driver or tuk-tuk driver and things. So always bring some small change with you. I always recommend the chest purse to hold your stuff in. At least no one's going to grab or steal your stuff. And they also have the waist one too, where it can hold your glasses and your credit cards and things as well. For either of the two options, for safety in keeping your belongings instead of pockets and stuff, because there are a lot of like scams and thrift pocketers around the Philippines. So it leads us to the next one, which is let's cover the don'ts of traveling in the Philippines. Some of the things, what we don't want to do. Okay, so number one, don't flash valuables. Now, as I go through and travel all through the Southeast Asia, I see a lot of people, sporting their nice fancy shoes, their nice fancy sunglasses and stuff. Well, it's only a target for pickpocketers, especially in crowded areas like markets and jeepneys. Jeepneys are the trucks where they have the benches in it, right? And you go in and you pay your 50 pesos, and it goes around town, and you jump in and jump off whenever you want. Keep your phone and your wallet secure, and avoid wearing any flashy jewelry, watches, necklaces, earrings, things like that. That would be one of the things. The other thing we want to avoid and don't want to do is drink tap water. So stick to bottled water, or bring, what I usually do is a reusable bottle with a filter in it. This way, we're saving your stomach from like a lot of the upset stomach and troubles. And we're also helping these local little islands reduce plastic waste, so there's not a ton of bottles and plastic, piling up, on these little cities. Number three, don't accept drinks from strangers. If you are at some co-working places or on these bar crawls where they'll hit 3 or 4 bars, in 3 or 4 hours, make sure you're doing your own drinks. Spike drinks are a known issue in tourist hotspots like Angeles City or parts of Manila in the nightlife. Always keep an eye on your drinks. Pour your own drinks, buy your own drinks, don't accept drinks, and stuff like that is a very good safety tip when traveling. Especially for you women out there, men buying you drinks, I would be very cautious as far as buying your own drinks and knowing what drinks or bottles you opened and you didn't open. Don't use unlicensed taxis. Now, there are a lot of taxis, especially when I was in Cebu and Manila, that will just pull up, right? Those pull up. They're not on the apps nowadays, like the Grab app or the Bolt app, or the other one that's in the Philippines. I forgot which one it is. So the fees are a lot more, and they'll probably overcharge you, as far as where we're going and the prices. So only use meter taxis or rideshare apps like the Grab or the Bolt app for safety and transparency. Avoid hailing taxis on the street, as scams are common. Now, the smaller the island, you would have to hail. I know in Siargao, I would walk up and down in the evenings trying to find a restaurant because there wasn't really much around. So I would walk a good 15 or 20 minutes for a pizza place or a restaurant, and say, because you'd sit there trying to hail a motorbike or a taxi. It would be long. You'd be waiting forever, and then there's no like a Grab app when I was there, so you can't grab it and wait for a taxi to pick you up, a motorbike to pick you up, on that. So, number 5, don't wander alone at night. Stay with friends. While cities like Cebu and Manila have vibrant nightlives, I've seen a lot of people get lost and some other scary things, which leads to police and searches and stuff. So it's always better just to stick with friends or stay in a well-lit area. There's also some apps or some tracking apps with friends that you could say, I'm going over here, and some other friends are saying going over here, but there you could check in to see where you're at 8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, and things like that, where time doesn't drift off and it becomes 10 o'clock or too late, and something might have happened. Number 6, don't engage with scammers. Now, with Manila, I'll always say Manila is a little more aggressive, the Philippines, than like Thailand. When I got off the plane in the Philippines for Manila, I got bombarded with people grabbing my bags and saying, "You go with me," and where's your hotel? And I literally had to grab my luggage, away from these people. When you get off of the airport, you're bombarded. So I'll always say, make sure you don't engage with strangers. If you're coming off the airport and you scheduled a taxi, make sure you know where that taxi's at, or communicate or text. We text back and forth where they're at. Sometimes they'll do the pictures. You can see the license plate number and stuff. So be very, very cautious. Even when I was in Siargao surfing, that first night I got in, it was very aggressive. Even the surfers, it's for surf lessons. Surf lessons. You're free. You never surf. You come with me. You come with me. So it's very they're on you really good to get you to do surf lessons for an hour or 2 hours or whatever they had for that. So once again, always hang out with friends. Try to make sure that you don't engage with other people or strangers or scammers. I've seen some people jump in taxis, and the taxi car driver doesn't have a phone or a map, like a Google map, so you don't even know where you're going. So that was a little bit shady. They had to say, "Oh, we're finished here." They had to open the doors, throw the driver some money really quick and get the heck out of there. So always be cautious and be very protected of your life and your safety per se. Don't travel without travel insurance. One of Mark and my favorite travel insurance is Safety Wing. Travel insurance is definitely a thing that is needed and comes when you least expect it, You're covered. So make sure your travel insurance includes medical coverage, evacuation coverage, motorbike, if you're renting, a motorbike is very popular, coverage and things like that. Want to know how to travel on a budget? Okay, so traveling on a budget. Number 1, stay at a budget-friendly accommodations, and you can find hotels for as low as 1,000 to 2,000 pesos, which is about $18 to $30 per night, on platforms like Booking, Expedia, Agoda. There's a bunch of them popping up all over nowadays. Booking? There's a bunch of them. And stuff. So what we have found in this travel Southeast Asia is very interesting. So Mark and I were in Kasamui, and we said, well, we should research something what are the prices of hotel rooms if you're on a laptop computer versus if you are on your phone, your mobile. And the interesting thing is the mobile always came out more expensive because hotels know that you're always on the go. People use their mobile when you're in the back of a taxi late at night, where to get a hotel. They're hardly on their computer or a laptop. So for all of our tests and studies, Mark and I have found out that if you book on your computer, you will get a significantly lower what's that called? Like option or like I guess it would be called option for that hotel, those rooms, or for that night compared to a mobile app. So what I'm saying is it's cheaper to book when you are on in front of a laptop computer per se on that. Really interesting. A lot of people say that doesn't add up. Well, check this out. So if you were to save $4 or $5 a night and you're traveling for a few months, right? But that $4 or $5 a night times 30, that's $150, a month. And you were to do this over and over and over, right? In the next month, that's $300. In London, Germany, the UK, the United States, that $150 is like a cell phone bill, a utility bill, gas for like 2 weeks. So a lot can go with that. Times that by a year, you're saving a lot. And if you could do that with other things, like booking apps and touring apps. If you're going on to what's the one, travel expertise, a TripAdvisor. If you're going on TripAdvisor, that might be what you'd like to do as well. Check out the prices on your mobile app versus your computer, because if these big businesses know that everyone's on their mobile app and booking their tours and the prices are up and no one's really booking online on a computer and they're cheaper just by a few bucks and stuff like that, well, it's, of course, better to book when you're on your computer. So a little hack there as far as traveling on a budget. Eat like a local. Now, I can't tell you enough as far as eating, right? You could hit all these Western, places. When we're in Angeles, there is every Western restaurant you could even imagine. There's places like Kenny Rogers Roasters Chicken, right? In Los Angeles, they had these places like Boston Market. Kenny Rogers Roasters Chicken. It was rotisserie chicken with mac and cheese and mashed potatoes and everything. Well, it went under and all of them closed down. But sure enough, in Angeles City, there's the big, huge shopping mall with all the awesome restaurants from the Western restaurants, Chili's, the Applebee's, Outback Steakhouse. They even have the Panda Express. Panda Inn has a Chinese restaurant in California, and their first one was in Pasadena, California, in the 1990s, and they kept growing and growing. They started building these fast food chains, almost like McDonald's, but it's like Chinese food, Panda Express. So the Angeles City shopping mall has a Panda Express. So what I'm saying is you can eat at all these places, and it's going to be U.S. dollars or London dollars. Right, that's the thing about it. A burger at McDonald's is going to be $8 or $10, just the way it is in London or England or the United States. I just said Kenny Rogers Roasters Chicken. Kenny Rogers Roasters Chicken is still going to be $10, right? As it was back when they had the ones in the States. However, if you're eating local, like food stalls and street food, and really get a sense of the chickens and the rice and the porks and the barbecues and all the flavor of the Philippines, you are eating for 100 pesos, 150 pesos. Mark and I did a 100 baht challenge in Bangkok, Thailand, and we said, how far can 100 baht go? And I was on the streets somewhere near Soy 33, and I had chicken, I had rice, I had a skewer of chicken, and then I had chicken wings, and there was something else. And it was like this huge plate, all for like 100 baht. Same thing with the Philippines. You could eat. I remember being in Manila with the big like center, the oval center. And you can go around. You in the mood for pizza? You in the mood for like pasta, noodles? They had the steam cookers. They even had, what was it called? It was, I don't even know what it was, but they had the pork that you like cut. So they had like the big pork belly, is that what they call it? And they like shave it and stuff. They had those in the street food. So you can find some amazing food, especially if you're with friends. There's always stories to tell. When I was in Boracay, we ate this and this and this, right? When I was in Manila, we had this and this and this. So eat local food, dine and indulge in great local food. If you'd like to hit the Chili's and the Outbacks, and the Applebee's and the Kenny Rogers Roasted Chicken, by all means, do so. But if you really like traveling on a budget and enjoying great food for very, very inexpensive prices, hit the street foods, hit the street stalls, and some of the local, like downtown little areas. Really, really awesome. Public transport. Now, we talked a little bit about the jeepneys, right? The pickup trucks would have the benches in it. So try not to do like the pricey cars or taxis. I know they're easy and convenient, but the jeepsies go around town. You hop in, you pay your 50 pesos, and you hop off wherever you wanted to go. When I was in Siargao, they didn't have any of those. They might now. I'm not too sure. They did have them in Manila, and they did have them when I was in Boracay. Boracay is a fascinating city. Not to say that you really need it, because the hotels that I was staying over were all on the strip. So you could walk down, and all your restaurants and shops and little plazas were all, right there for all your food needs and stuff. So we'll always say to, do local transport. When we're in Thailand, I love the BTS and the MRT, right? The local subways and the sky trains, right? You get there so fast. It's so cheap. It's 50 cents. You can go from Nana all the way over to Ekamai and even farther to the brand new Cloud 11, big, huge $1 billion shopping center, they're building. Instead of grabbing a motorbike that might cost you $1, a taxi might cost you $3. But as I was saying before, that $3 times 30 days now it becomes $130, $150 for the month, and you're thinking, oh darn it, I should have traveled locally instead. Book flights early is number 4. So when we're talking about booking flights, Philippines have these small islands, and I'll just say Boracay. I'm sorry, not Boracay. Probably Boracay, but Siargao. It's a small airport. The airplanes fly in. There's one little baggage area. It's cute and quaint. But what I mean by that is flights fill up fast. I remember going from Siargao to Manila, or it was Manila to Dumaguete or something. The flight was really full, right? And they actually had an announcement saying, if you want a credit or something, you can, stay and wait for the next plane and stuff, because the plane was overbooked. So book your flights early. Domestic flights between islands can be as low as 1,500 pesos. $27. I remember from Boracay to Siargao was something like that. I think it was 39 or something. I remember some of the island. What was the other one? I did Boracay to something, had the airport, and it was only $27. So it's really great. All these different islands, hopping on these charter planes and traveling all these islands throughout the Philippines on very, very, very little money. Some of the most popular airlines: Cebu Pacific or Air Asia for your travel needs. Staying safe in the Philippines. We always want to stay safe, regardless of where it is. We always want to be around friends. You always want to communicate with those around you, to say, I'm going to be here, right? And tell your friends. It's very, very important. So be aware of your surroundings. I always say, always look around, see who's in back of you, see who's in front of you. There's been several times where I'm walking down streets for whatever reason it is, and if there's someone behind you, right, I sort of pull to the side and let somebody walk behind, because you never know about your safety. Pickpocketers, theft, burglaries, anything like that. So be aware of your surroundings. If you have a little a mirror, that's even great to carry with you. What else? We talked a little bit about the chest purses. You'll see a lot of men wearing. Women have the waist things where you could have your glasses and your credit cards in and stuff like that. So your chest purse or the waist safety, protector is always great in a lot of crowded areas like Divisiones Market in Manila or like Cologne Street in Cebu. Avoid common tourist scams is number two. So be cautious in busy areas like Manila's Amita district or parts of Cebu City where people are like overly friendly or like strangers might approach you with offers that seem too good to be true. I'll take you over this way. I'll take you to the hottest club in Cebu. Things like that. These could be scams designed to swindle you out of your money. So be safe. Always be sure that you are taking care of yourself and your loved ones. There are a lot of like tour apps and operators popping up all over the place. So whether you're surfing in Siargao or swimming with the whale sharks in Oslob, always choose your licensed operators who prioritize safety and follow ethical practices. Um, this ensures that both your safety and the protection of marine life is at the highest levels, whether it's the cleanliness of like food and drinks when we're swimming with the whale sharks, whether we're doing scuba diving and snorkeling in some of these beautiful lagoons and marinas. They also say not to use sunscreen. So some of the islands you come in, they say don't use the sunscreen because of the oil, right? The oil gets into the water. The cenotes in Mexico and the Mexico's cenotes are in Cancun. Say no sunscreen because the oil rubs off and then it pollutes the water and stuff. So we're always going to make sure that we sort of take care of the land, right, that we are visiting and we're touristing on our holidays. Number 4, respect local laws and customs. You never know. So I always like at least researching what are the religions, what are some of the laws. Avoid political discussions or participating in demonstrations. This one's illegal for foreigners traveling to the Philippines. So I know there's always dress attire when we're traveling as well for men and women. With showing like shoulders and chest and legs and things. So it depends on the culture of the religion and where we're traveling to. Be very respectful of the local guides and laws, right? So very, very important. As well it is trying to understand the language so you can communicate. Say hello, how are you, thank you, where is this, where's hotel, how can I get taxi and stuff. So making the most of your time in each city. Number 1, Manila. Explore the Intramuros. It is a great spot for history and seeing all the local history of Manila, the Intramuros. Shops like the Greenbelt Mall for modern luxury. And you could also take a sunset stroll along the Manila Bay. Moving on to number 2, Cebu. Visiting the Magellan's Cross for historical buffs. Don't miss the Temple of Lay for stunning architecture, and if you can, the 1 or 2 restaurants right across the street. The one in particular that overlooks all of Cebu. It is amazing. So you could see the Temple of Lay, take your pictures, get all in the culture and the history, and then go across the street for a beautiful lunch or a dinner. Overlook the city lights of all the hills all the way out to the edges of the bay and the water. It is really, really pristine. And you could also take a ferry to Bohol for chocolate hills and tasteries. Also in Cebu is 10,000 roses, which is always a traveler's to-do list or bucket list. They have this cafe that I had a taxi driver of mine take me to, and it was pouring rain, so we had to go up Cebu, over the bridge, down the next island, and then into the whatever it would be called, because it was like at the edge. It was almost like a pier, and you're met by these glowing 10,000 roses, and it is really, really cool. Inside that, it had a cafe, it had a little eatery, and it had a restaurant. And we did another restaurant too, now that I'm thinking of it, that was because the first restaurant we had a pizza, but it was small, but it was a little pricey. So we went somewhere else and we were eating. We had plates and plates of food and chicken and all types of good things. So it was really, really great. So I'll always recommend 10,000 Roses if you can get out there on Cebu. Now, Cebu as well, you got to do the whale shark swim. So Oslob is 4 hours south on the southern tip of Cebu for the Oslob whale shark swim. Siargao, number 3, Siargao, surfing Cloud 9. If you want to surf Cloud 9, there is Froggies, which is a co-working spot just north of Siargao. You're guaranteed to meet people from all over the world. People from London, people from Australia, people from Switzerland, Amsterdam, Austria, India, Thailand, all over the world, and you just share commonalities, strike up some good conversations, and then, of course, hit the waves the next morning at Cloud 9 there for surfing. I also did past General Luna is Secret Beach. So you take this motorbike, let me see if I can remember it really quick, for the surfing Kermit's Surf Ranch, or Kermit's Surf Park, was this place that people go in Siargao, and it's like a hotel. It's got a pool in the middle, and then you surf. It's like a surf camp. It's not near like surfing. You take motorbikes out to the ocean and stuff. Secret Beach, I'd say a good 30 minutes ride out. So on a motorbike, you put your surfboards on it, on the rails, and then you both hop on your bike and you go through the hills all the way out and surf some waves. So that's Cloud 9 and Secret Beach for some really awesome surfing on there. Surfing, we did some pictures, selfie mode on the GoPro camera. I had a surf coach that was pushing me for waves because they weren't like as big, so they were a little small. So he was pushing me, and I had another guy holding my GoPro to get the footage. So there's always nice people right next to the Secret Beach. It was really cool. You're in the middle of this island, in the middle of nowhere, right in the middle of the Philippines, enjoying life, and you surf. But there were 3 little huts. One was the rental for the surfboards. One was like I think maybe for the restrooms and things or something. The next one was a little like restaurant. They were cooking like scrambled omelets, scrambled egg omelets, and what else? Something else, like probably chicken and pork. So it was really cool. You're hanging out, and right after you're like just eating a little bit as far as great local Siargao, food. So pretty cool. There is also the Sugba Lagoon, I think, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Sugba, it's Sugba, Sugba Lagoon. It really is a tourist hotspot on the island for the beautiful lagoon that it has. People will jump in, people will snorkel and things. So just really enjoy the lagoon there in Siargao. Number 4, Angeles City. Now, if you want to travel to the Philippines and you're looking for a city that is westernized, that is clean, fresh, big, clean road, paved roads, and all the kit and caboodles, Angeles City really is it. I had a lot of hotels around Walking Street. And I mentioned the one bar and the nightclub that was the Aqua Bar, right? The Aqua Beach Club, which was really, really great. But Angeles City, when we're talking about the things to do or must things to do, you have the walking street for all the clubs, for the girls' clubs, the bars, the restaurant, shooting billiards, things like that. Then you also have the big shopping plaza, and inside that plaza has all the westernized restaurants, the Chili's, the Applebee's, the Panda Express, and things like that. But the Aqua Beach Club overlooks the walking street, which is really, really awesome. So, a fitness center, working out, enjoying maybe some drinks or the pool party upstairs at Aqua Beach Club is cool. Mount Pinatubo is an unforgettable hike. Now, Angeles City, we have a lot of expats. A lot of people retire in Angeles City, and for great reasons. It's a clean city. It's a great city. It used to be a airport, a Air Force base, and it just kept becoming more and more westernized, American-wise. That's why this city, you don't really have to speak Filipino, right? It's more or less just English. It's all hello, how are you? Hey, where's my hotel? How can I get to the pool? Stuff like that. So it was a lot more English speaking. Pinatubo is a hike. So if those of you that like hiking, trails, like things like that, this is your place to do it. And what great place to escape that big westernized place of Angeles City than there for the hiking trails. When I was in Austin, Texas, it was just chock full of hiking trails, biking trails, and things like that. A very active community and things. So that's your Angeles City things to do on your trip and your holidays and things. Why you should visit the Philippines is always going to come up, right? Why you should visit the Philippines, what are some of the hot spots, what islands are tourist destinations, what rank the highest, like in some of these travel magazines and things. So the Philippines really isn't just a destination. For Mark grew up in the Philippines, right? He grew up, his family's in the Philippines. For me, coming to the Philippines the first time a few years back, I was always blessed by a lot of great things, great food, great people. Like I said, when we were going to Cebu, playing volleyball with all the locals for the whole afternoon, going through all these fitness centers and just staying healthy and fit on my travels, meeting some great people, some great surfers at Siargao, Secret Beach. Boracay was just amazing because it was just not miles and miles, but it was just I don't even know how long. I'll just say miles and miles of restaurants along the ocean. And I never knew, Boracay, if that ever got hit by a storm or heavy winds or rain, all that water would wash away or would flood all those restaurants and those little shopping businesses, all that stretched all through Boracay. Amazing. When I was in Boracay, it rained a lot. So I always wondered. I never seen anything like it. It was just miles and miles of T-shirts, jewelry, dinner, restaurant places, burger places, And then then there would be like a hotel because you would see the pool or the like the hotel lights and things. Then it would be more and more of things and stuff. So little activities. I know they were doing was it jet skis, and they had the floating ramp. Right, we could walk all the way out for the floating ramp, do your selfie pictures on these some of the little islands poking out of the ocean and stuff. Some great Instagram photos. Um, the Philippines has 85-degree weather all year round. You know, a lot of people say, why move to the Philippines? Why move to Thailand, right? It has 85 to 90-degree weather all year round. There's stunning beaches, breathtaking beaches. The water is cleaner, crisper, and a lot clearer than Thailand, right? So the beaches and the water, even for the whale shark swim, is out of this world. You know, underwater, it's just like bath water. It's crystal clear. Vibrant cities are some of the friendliest people on earth that you will meet. The country, once again, 7,000 islands. It does really take a lot of time and effort to go through all the islands and the different, I guess, maybe cultures of each island. I hit maybe 10 or 12 on my travels, and I didn't hit like a lot of them, right? I tried to get out to Ariel's Point. I couldn't make that one. And then there was another one, Buho, right? Buho is very popular. Everyone talked about Buho Rock. And I couldn't get there either because the ferries, I guess, left in the morning, and something happened where the ferry didn't come back that night, or you had to stay the night, or I forget what I remember the translation. I had to hire a taxi cab driver to translate for me at the window the specifics. I was trying to actually get to Buho Rock on that. So whether you're hopping around and love island hopping, if you love beaches, if maybe you're in the United States and you're in Florida and you've always loved beaches and sand and sun and stuff, and you're saying, wow, why should I come to the Philippines? It's a great spot for very low money, right? You get great Philippine cuisine. The hotels are very, very cheap. Could be anywhere from 10, 12. I know some of the digital nomad and the co-working places are even cheaper for the hostels and stuff, maybe $8, $10, a night, all the way up to 20 or 30, dollars a night on that. So world-class Filipino food, stays for hotels, and everything else, right, at a fraction of what you'd spend anywhere else. Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cancun, where else? Acapulco and things like that. So pack your bags and get ready for an adventure that you will never forget. Thank you so much. If you have any comments or questions on the Philippines, what to do, what not to do, what to enjoy, how to make the best of your travel through the Philippines, shoot them in the comments below. My name is Eddie with Mark. Mark is a mecca of knowledge as far as the Philippines, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. He was just in Vietnam, and then he was just in like Kuala Lumpur. Before that, last year I was in what was it, Kuala Lumpur and Singapore for there. So I'm sure we're going to be doing some videos for that area as well and upload those to the channel. Comment what you guys would like to see on the channel here for us. We'll make it happen. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next traveling video where we'll see you in and around the Philippines. Maybe we'll see you in Siargao surfing. Maybe we'll see you in Manila bike riding, or maybe we'll see you somewhere else in Angeles eating some of that westernized food like Kenny Rogers Roasters chicken. Till then, we're signing off. Have a great afternoon.